I made this painting a couple years ago, and I thought it was pretty cool. It wasn't the first time. I painted it on the street a few times before that too. Then, I turned it into some merch. And then I figured, why not milk it some more? Let's turn it into a sculpture. Hey, Kiptoe, have you ever sculpted before? I'll take that as a no. Well, you're a smart guy, you can figure it out. Here you go. Good luck. Welcome. Hi there. So you are going to sculpt today, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna give my old Boy Scout best, you know? I don't think that's a saying. Whatever, just tell me how to start. Here, use this as a base. Then build the armature out of wire and aluminum and you should be off to a good start. Great, thanks. What's your name? My name is El Tigre. Right. Well, let's do it. I started by trying to manhandle this strong wire into the mouth face area as best I could. But before I got any further, I made a reference board so I could see what I was doing at all times. Then I wrapped that metal mouth in some more metal and created a base for the sculpture to build off of. For the hand, I cut some wires to size for fingers and attached those to some more wiry, palmy shapes. And if I do say so myself, I think I'm off to a pretty good start already. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. This amateur has no idea what he's doing. Alright, time for some clay action. I was ill-prepared for how much work it was going to take to condition this stuff. You see, polymer clay is basically synthetic plastic clay made from PVC. It needs to be kneaded and conditioned quite a lot before it's even remotely usable. Why is it so hard? El Tigre didn't mention that part. Ugh. God almighty. Yo, I did not think this was gonna be this hard. I think I'm gonna go get a rolling pin. I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully this helps. Here goes nothing. Oh, hell yeah, that's way better already. It was way better. For about 5 minutes. And then just went back to sucking again. I thought it'd be fun to try this, but it was just starting to feel like a huge waste of time and energy. Just folding it over and over and trying to get the material mixed up and in prime condition was a frustrating experience, to say the least. I started to wonder why I was even doing this and what I was doing with my life. I was dripping sweat and almost ready to give up on this project. But one of my pet peeves is giving up on stuff prematurely. So I did what any YouTuber does. I went on YouTube.
All the cracking along the top has gone as well, so that is now a perfectly conditioned piece of polymer clay and ready to use.
It looks like I'm going back to the store. This one's a little further away. But I'm coming for the ride. All right. Hold on to that. All right, well, here goes nothing. You gonna help or? No, I'm just going to watch. Yeah, that's what I thought. Here we go. All right, now we're cooking with flames. Look at that business. Okay, time to wrap this thing up with clay and make a tiger. Make a tiger. Yeah, I realized this was just not it. Let's start over. This should do the trick. A little smaller and more manageable for an amateur like me. Although as much as I was excited to work on this little smaller one, I was still trying to figure out how to use this damn Sculpey. But after covering the wires with material and starting to bulk up the forms a bit, I started to feel a little better. I noticed that rolling it out into strips made the bulking process a little easier, but definitely not faster. I felt like I would be conditioning clay for 10 minutes to get 30 seconds of sculpting done. And it really started to take a toll on my hands for the first couple days. For someone just used to painting, constantly using my hands in new ways for such a tough task was definitely making them sore. But after I gave myself a little break, I built up some tolerance and found myself really excited to continue. I'm slowly working it out here. Getting this nose whiskers area is really important. And I think I'm gonna have to redo these eyes here. After watching some other sculptors, I noticed that making a ball for the eye and adding the eyelids on top was the way to go. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. And after building up the forms for so long, carving away to create the details was way easier and was definitely the most fun part and the most rewarding. One of the other things I learned was how hard it was to film all this. Getting this little thing I'm working on to stay in frame and also stay in focus was a challenge in itself. Oh, there we go. So much better. So tigers have these big bushy furry sideburn things on the side of their heads. I added these big hot dogs on the sides and we'll try to sculpt a chunky mane later. I was constantly checking my references to see how I was doing. Still a ways to go. Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere. Look at this spiral coming through here on the back. But this is difficult. This is very difficult. Whose idea was it to make a spring-loaded sculpture? This guy. It's starting to fall backwards a little bit. If you see there, it's like this is straight up. It's starting to fall that way, but whatever. I'm gonna carve these like fur lines here so I can get some more definition. And then we're just gonna add the ears here. Let's finish this tiger up here. I'm gonna start carving away a little bit here. Get some more deets. Let's do it. I carved away a chunk of that fur to make room for the ears and made sure to have them set back like the tiger is roaring in action. You seem to be making some good progress there, Kiptoe. Yeah, you can actually call me Lord Kiptoe. Okay, don't get ahead of yourself, pal. Not for real. I'm Lord Kiptoe. Says who? Well, the great nation of Scotland. I'm actually like a third Scottish, so it works out. Here, check it out. How'd you pull this one? Oh, well, it's easy. With established titles, you can purchase 1 square foot in Scotland and get your lord or ladyship, just like that. Oh, wow. Do they send the foot too? Nope. It's all the proof right here. So it doesn't come with a foot? Of land. 1 square foot of land in Scotland. It's pretty dope. You buy 1 square foot. It's like an old historic custom over there in Scotland, right? Landowners are called lords and ladies. So now I am Lord Kiptoe. There's my plot number right there. And they plant a tree with every order with global charities around the world, including 1 tree planted and trees for the future to help reforestation efforts around the globe. And established titles told me that the first 200 people to use my link and grab their land will be essentially next to me. So if you want to act now and start getting some little gifts for your friends and family, we can start building our little Scottish Kiptoe kingdom over there. It makes for a really cool, unique gift. So head to the link in my description and use the code Kiptoe to get an additional 10% off your new sexy title. Grab some for your friends and family and help support the channel. Thanks. Now let's keep going on this sculpture. Now, time to do the hand. I made this wire hand right now. I'm gonna stick it in here and give it a whirl. So going into this, I figured the hand would be the most difficult part of this whole sculpture. But to my surprise, sculpting the hand was actually way faster and easier than I would have imagined. I had some practice already from the tiger, and I had great reference right there on the end of my own arm. Finger by finger, this thing really started to come to life. I would check my hand, make adjustments, check again. It was a smooth process. See here on these knuckles how they have like a bulge and they come in and go into that carpal, whatever this thing is. I gotta bring that out a little bit more right here. And also I just gotta work on these little parts of my hand right here in between the knuckles here on the inside. It's definitely really tricky and there's like little lumps of skin. Kind of goes out, in, out, like that. Get those lumps of skin in there and it's gonna get really close. Just having fun with it. Let's keep going. After finishing off every detail on the hand, all that was left to do was the fingernails. Nails are so tricky. It really defines how the finger falls in space and caps off what we all know to be a hand. I channeled my inner chi and went for it. Okay, I think all the sculpting is done here. This is really exciting and also incredibly terrifying. Now it's time to put this hand inside of the mouth here. Put a little hole in there already, and I'm just gonna do a little dry fit and see what happens. Oh, yo, that's pretty epic. Look at that, sheesh. My goodness, what have I made right here? Okay, so I have actually pre-baked some little teeth here. They got a little crispy in the oven. I put them in there too long, but I'm gonna put some teeth in there, and then I'm gonna bake these separately, and then build the base. Let's go. The tiger makes his way across this fierce realm from mere malleable clay to a full-time real-world creature, and from this point forward, there's no going back. Each minute that ticks by in this transcendental fiery universe is another minute closer to becoming its truest form, and I was right there along for the ride. In spirit, drinking a smoothie outside. Want some? Oh, looks like we're done. Let's go check it out. Okay, this is really exciting. It's all baked. So now I'm gonna have to just work on the base here. And I cut this down to size, so it's a square instead of a rectangle. I'm gonna try and build up a little bit of wood, work with the tools that I got, and we'll keep this baby rolling. Okay, now that we got our base cutouts, we can epoxy it all together. There was a big crack at the bottom where all the tension of the sculpture sits, so I made sure to hit that with some epoxy as well to secure the whole piece tightly. It looks easy, but this all required a lot of brain power, and it was really stressful. And after I did this, I realized I still had a long ways to go before this was going to be finished. I let the glue dry overnight and tried to get some rest. Now let's sculpt this base. This stuff mixes together and hardens over the course of a few hours, so it's time to get busy. I started by just laying it out in chunks and covering the blocks of wood and smoothing it out with water. Then I was able to get fancy and start adding some spirals and swirls to accent this entire sculpture. I was making it up as I went, but this stuff was so much easier to work with than the polymer clay was. It was nice to try a different medium and see what I could do with it. And then, I was done. And it was time to finally add paint and make it sexy. I slapped some white gesso on there as a base layer. And I had this idea to glue down some sand as a tactile texture, like some type of earthy, rocky landmass that this tiger was summoning from. While I waited for the glue to dry, it was time to add some color. Giving it a few splashes of red and blue to start with, I realized I wouldn't be able to see the big picture without first spraying the base. There we go. Now we can start adding the layers of color and fur to bring out the character of this guy. It was a delicate process, building up the layers slowly with lots of dry brushing and overlapping to create a volume of this guy and simulate fur. Can't forget the tiger stripes. Then I added a few choice spots of golden yellow to this piece to match the original painting. And once all that was done, there was just one last piece of the puzzle. I picked up these black aquarium rocks and decided to add them to the base as a final accent. Supergluing them one little rock at a time. And once the final rock was in place, it was finally finished. That's it, baby, we did it. It was a struggle in the beginning at first, for sure. Anything you do the first time was always a struggle, but man, I'm really happy with how this came out. I'm super stoked on it. I think it's really cool and a way to just turn my painting into a 3D object. It was something I've wanted to do for a long time, and now I'm excited to try some more. Like, what else can we do? And I'd love to, like, you know, create my own custom statues or toys or merchandise and stuff like that. I think that'd be something really special down the line in the future. So if you guys like this, you want to support me, I got t-shirts, sticker packs, prints, some brand new prints in the shop, as well as mugs and all sorts of other goodies over there to spark your fancy. Huge shout out to my Patreon members, the Kiptoe crew over there. We just did an awesome Q&A last night. So you guys are the best. Thanks again. Bunch of cool stuff on the way. Let me know what you think of the sculpture. Keep feeding that kinetic imagination. Thanks for watching.